Another episode of the Dietitian Against Diets with Rashonda here. I'm going to first give you my guest name, and then I got to tell you some background information. So I have with me Jaime Rothermich. He is a fellow dietitian like myself, not only a fellow dietitian, but he's also a sports dietitian. He has a little bit more background in the training and wellness industry. Actually, he's the owner and founder of a gym in St. Louis called Functional Element Training and Nutrition Center. He's been in the game for 21 years, guys, and 20 years plus education plus experience. But I have to kind of give you guys some understanding of the levels of like how I even came to what I do for a living, how much this gentleman has made an impact on my life. So first of all, Jaime, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're so welcome. Um, when I first got into the field of dietetics, I was an athlete, so I was used to being within the sports realm, and so I wanted to stay in the sports realm. And so as I'm in St. Louis, I'm seeking out where can I go to get that experience, and I came upon a gym called Hammer Bodies. Way back in the day, guys, for anyone that's here from St. Louis, it was a great gym. But one of the biggest things that I got out of there was me meeting Jaime. He was the head of nutrition services there
Hmm.
at the moment, and I was a little old dietitian that just got her license. But I worked under Jaime for several years, watching him working with the athletes, building nutrition programs, watch him educate the members and clients there. And that's really where I got my growings and how I became a sports dietitian. So I always endeavored to be a sports dietitian, and Jaime was like my mentor.
And I remember us having a ton of conversations, just one on one about our philosophy, our beliefs, and I mean, it just kind of it helped me as well when we were working together to kind
Hmm.
of expand my horizons as well.
Huh,
Yep.
never knew
Yep.
that. And as Jaime has just mentioned, like we've had these conversations because one thing when you're a dietitian meet with another dietitian, it's just this common thread that you guys are on the same page. You see eye to eye, you
Hmm.
respect one another, and you just learn from one another.
Yes.
And so I will honestly say, like my whole just pathway to becoming into the field of wellness was really based off what I learned from Jaime, and I actually kept a lot of his teaching techniques and the way he interacted with clients.
Hmm.
I took what I learned from you and just repolished it into my own
Yeah.
little thing, but
Yeah.
a lot of the roots came from you. So just want everyone to really know who this guy is. Just not some cool looking guy here in St. Louis, but he means a lot to me in my career, and
Thank
I
you.
am very grateful that I had opportunity in meeting you and just
Hmm.
you never know how life takes you.
You're right.
You know?
And now we're back together.
Yes, we fall back a full circle.
Yep.
So you own Functional Elements
Hmm.
and Nutrition Center
Yep.
that's out there in Chest, well,
Creve Core.
Creve Coeur,
Yep.
right? And we'll get into where it's at and all of the
Hmm.
stuff later. But before that, how many years have you worked in this whole wellness industry before you start your own place?
So, like you mentioned, I was with Hammer Bodies, and I started there at the ripe old age of 23. I am 44 now, turning 45 in a
Oh,
week. So,
wow.
yeah,
Well,
so
congratulations.
I was there for 15 years,
I didn't know that.
and yeah, and up until we started Functional Elements in June of 2013.
Uh huh.
And I'll be honest, and I'm sure we'll get into this in a little bit, but what I knew then wasn't wrong, but my progression of knowledge from way back then till now has been amazing. You know what I mean? I am not the same dietitian I was then or even 5 years ago. And the one thing that I appreciate and you mentioned is that when you do talk to other dietitians, a lot of times dietitians, there's not, especially in our field
Yeah.
of prevention and wellness, you're not working with other dietitians. So therefore, when you and I get together, or myself and another colleague get together, it's like we're out on an island by ourselves for so much of our career that it's nice to kind of get feedback from other dietitians. So,
I agree.
so yeah, I mean, you invited me here today, and us talking is I love it. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Well, great. Well, one thing when I was reading your bio that you sent me, this is something that I didn't know about you. Um, you mentioned, and this is where I feel like we kind of came from the same cloth in a way. When you, I'll let you go into it more, but
Hmm.
when you went into the dietetic program, you came out of it already knowing where you did
Oh
not
yeah,
want to be.
yeah. Now I will preface it by saying when I was at Mizzou and going through the coordinated program in dietetics, which for those of you that don't know is you do your research and your your clinicals and your classes all at the same time. So when you are finished, all you have to do is take the registration exam and you're done. So going through all those clinicals, it was heavily secondary care clinical,
Yes.
In the hospital. And I learned a ton. I mean, I learned absolutely so much from it, but I knew that's not where I wanted to be. I went through a 5-week rotation, my very last rotation before I graduated at the VA at Mizzou.
Okay.
And it just taught me, this is a fight. This is not the fight I want to help people with. I want to go into prevention. I want to go into wellness. I want to help people learn how to ward off the risk of disease, cancer, diabetes, et cetera, et cetera. Basically metabolic syndrome, which is where everything is going now. So that was kind of my thought process as I was getting closer to graduation. It's like, man, this is a losing battle almost when people are in the hospital. And I don't disparage any dietitians in the hospital. That it just felt for me where my interests were, I would be better in a wellness and preventative approach, not a secondary care approach after somebody has an issue. I mean, and I'm sure you've seen it as well, where in the hospital, people are sick. They're not interested in the dietitian.
They're not. You're at the bottom of the totem pole.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'd say too. We are needed in every spot in everyone's life, in their pathway. But when it comes to that particular area, I feel people are not coming to you. You're just a part of the line in which they have to go through.
It's protocol.
It's protocol.
Yeah.
And you don't even have the opportunity to really give them something that they can apply. You know, you give them a few nuggets, but it's not going to turn them around.
No.
So I feel like, again, it's not that that's not needed. It's just I want to be on the front end of your health. I want to prevent you from getting there.
Yeah.
You know? So I totally agree with you on like the way you were looking at it, you know. So when you decided that you wanted to go and prevent it, did you decide like what that looked like yet?
I really didn't. And honestly, Hammer Bodies was a bit of a shot in the dark. I never had heard of it. But the owner, Coach Hammer at the time, invited me in to talk, and he was ahead of his time.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You have to give them that to him.
I will give him his due because he was so ahead of his time. He knew 20 years ago how important nutrition was, and I think back, and there's some other facets that he taught me and gave me the opportunity to implement that were ahead of the time as well, where coming out of school, I hadn't learned some of that stuff. So I was a little,
some of that. That's,
dietetics, the school taught me so much chemistry, biochemistry, nutritional biochemistry. It gave me a great foundation. But it was once I got to Hammer Bodies, and I'll be honest, more in the last 6 years since I opened up Functional Elements, have I really taken it upon myself and really made strides, I feel, in understanding nutrition on such a different, higher level. So when I went to, like I said, to step back, when Coach gave me an opportunity, I was just going to come on because he wanted to move out of that realm of counseling, nutrition counseling, because he wanted to grow the company. So he needed a dietitian.
But he knew to find a dietitian.
Yes, he did.
Right.
Good call. A couple of the people there, the clinic director at the time, and actually the administrator saw me training myself. They're like, hey, it looks like this guy can train too.
Okay.
So they started teaching me the ropes as far as how to personally train.
So you came in just nutrition solely, and that's how the training portion rolled in.
Okay. Yeah. So I have to give them credit for kind of setting me on the right path. And then we were there about 15 years or so, and kind of then the next chapter started for me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I think those are just stepping stones for you to get your grounding and know, because we all change and progress in any profession. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
Your education is not supposed to give you your lifelong.
No.
You know, it's supposed to like kind of be your booster. Like,
it opens the door, basically.
Yeah. And then you take it upon yourself to, if you, that's like I tell people, if you're in a profession you love, you have a passion for, you're
Hmm.
going to find ways to get better at it,
Yes.
so you can be a better service to those you serve. And
Hmm.
so you just having the confidence to say, what I have, I want to take and make it solely my own.
Hmm.
And I think kind of that's where the birth of
Yes.
functional elements came from.
Yes, exactly. And that's where with functional elements, not that I didn't have free reign to do what I wanted, but I have a few guys, my business partners that
Hmm.
as well, that are all on board.
Yeah.
We went into this endeavor with the same path, the same mindset, and I'm the oldest guy there. So I kind of take the reins and I kind of set the direction, if you will. And like I mentioned to you before we started, is I'm always trying to create more along the lines of nutrition to kind of move our programs, improve our programs of nutrition, because no matter how hard of a fight it is as a dietitian to
Yes,
help people understand nutrition and its importance, it's still a fight.
it is.
Like even with all the knowledge out there, which can be a detriment to our career, all the information out there
Hmm.
because there's so much good and bad out there, but it's still a struggle. So just trying to find new ways to get people to buy in. Everybody wants to work out, but if you aren't eating properly, and I'm sure we'll talk more about this, building your nutritional foundation, you're going to spin your
Yeah,
wheels, right?
you're
So
wasting your time.
yes, correct.
And another component too, helping people to appreciate nutrition. When I say
Mm-hmm.
appreciate nutrition, it's just not a part of the puzzle piece to change this view of the way you
Yes.
look or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
It's internally rebuilding your
Mm-hmm.
entire body from the inside, and and understanding how important a role that plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's also one, again, is that the mindset. How to first get them to buy into,
Yeah.
at least putting them in a position where they're with someone that is certified and licensed to help them the proper way,
Yep.
and then being able to coach and work with them within that realm to help them to understand the importance of it, not just because I said so.
Yeah.
So right, so
Yes.
that's another
Yes.
thing. Like I'm sure, like as you're saying, like when you guys first started, because I didn't see the nutrition center part of it until I read, like when you first started, it was just functional elements.
It was Functional Elements Inc., but
Okay,
then I guess the unofficial name is Functional Elements Training and Nutrition Center.
got it.
So yeah, we had to put that aspect in
Okay.
there.
And I appreciate it because you're letting your clientele, whomever is going to come into your
Hmm.
facility, know that these two pillars are
Yes,
what we're going to focus
they
on.
work together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So within your, because you have been in it for six years, and
Hmm.
it's still isn't anything new under the sun, no matter where you go. But kind of, tell me, like, how do you work with your clients and helping them to find a balance between understanding the importance of both?
So I guess let me start with what our philosophy is.
Okay.
Our clientele, we work with everybody, whether you are 8 years old or 88 years old. We have clients from young to old. But I guess our umbrella philosophy or our umbrella goal is longevity and quality of life or health
Okay.
span. And so if you as a client come to us saying, and I'm not minimizing weight loss, but on the scale of, I guess, things that are more or less important, prevention of diabetes and heart disease takes precedent over weight loss, right?
True.
So I'm not minimizing that, but as an example of if you come in saying, hey, I want to drop this many pounds. Okay, well, one, let's look at your goal. Yes, let's plan. We're going to put programs together nutritionally and training wise
Mm-hmm.
to accommodate that goal, but not at the expense of health span, longevity, and quality
Takes
of life.
precedence. Yeah.
Yes. So it's always there. So we focus on first getting to know that person, what their goals are, what they've been through, both on a nutritional scale and a training scale.
Okay.
We do submaximal testing, body fat percentage, biometric data, heart rate, blood pressure, but we also added a mobility module as well that we do 4 to 5 different mobility tests trying to gauge basically how this person can move. So we focus in on, are they strong? Are they building muscle or maintaining the muscle they have? Which I always equate, if you're eating properly, to bone health as well. Very rarely, if your muscles are growing, can your bones not grow with it or stay strong with it? So we focus in on, are they strong? Are you maintaining or growing muscle that you need? Do you need to keep? And can you move that muscle? Can you move your joints? Can you get up off the floor? And I know for an 8-year-old that's not a problem, but as a 45-year-old like myself, if I'm sitting behind the desk for the last 20 years, my body is not in a movement pattern that is conducive to getting up off the floor.
True.
You know, and so with that training, with the cardiovascular, the strength, the mobility component, we also layer in that nutrition component. And when I meet with people, meet with a client, especially initially, I always tell them, I'm like, this is not an end-all be-all program that I'm going to give to you right now. I'm like, this is a rough draft. You know, I talk to them for 45 minutes, an hour, whatever it might be. I'm like, there's no way I can hit the nail on the head. I might do a pretty close job of it, but even if I did hit the nail on the head, in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, your body's changing. Your goals are changing. There's always something that is changing, and therefore you
Life
have
is
to
changing.
exactly, yeah. I mean, and take that into account. Look at just stress levels throughout a year. And we just went through the holidays. As happy as the holidays may be, they are stressful.
They are.
Right? And
Yes.
so, you know, which then throws off all your hormonal equilibrium as well. You know, I was listening to a podcast on the way over, and they were talking about insulin response. And one of the things he said was the podcaster was measuring his insulin levels during, for not many people will know this, but being in a zone 2 workout, which is not that hard. He can see after a little while his insulin or his glucose levels start dropping. Well, if he increases that to a zone 3 or zone 4, because of how hard that is, his glucose goes up
back up
just because of the stress. And so we can equate any stress doing that, you know, or lack of sleep or whatever. So you always have to be molding and kind of reassessing the situation. And so that's what we do at Functional Elements, is we take all these components of strength, mobility, cardiovascular, biometrics, and nutrition, and we try to constantly reassess every couple months, 3 months or so, to make sure that we're keeping our clients on the right path.
And I think it helps the clients to know, like, you are a forever evolving and changing.
Yes.
Just, you're always changing, so you have to be aware and be knowledgeable how your body's changing. And no, it's not a two-dimensional thing. It's multidimensional.
Yes. And it's not just about you working in how should I say it? When we work with clients, it's not just about that, like you said earlier, that one component. We have to reassess all components. We have to talk to that client about, all right, the last 8 weeks, here's what your measurements came out to be. Here's what we've measured. But before we come up with this program, nutritionally and training-wise, what do the next 8 weeks look like? So it's always reassessing what had gone on, but doing an assessment of what's coming up as well.
Okay.
Because if you're going into the holidays,
give them some perspective.
You got it.
what to
Yeah, I mean,
expect.
if you have 3 trips coming up and you're trying to lose body fat, okay, it can be done, but the odds are kind of stacked against you as well.
You need to help create realistic expectations.
Yes.
And a lot of times we don't. We're constantly bombarded with this unrealistic expectations. If we do X, Y, Z, this is going to happen in this amount of time. So people have this idea of success means quickness.
Yes.
And that's not success. Success means longevity and being consistent and, you know, learning how
Yeah.
to implement this into a lifestyle.
Yes.
Like, and with that means there's going to be changing your lifestyle. So as your life is changing, understand how to change with it or what you need to do during those changes to be able to continue to move forward.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've learned this about yourself as well, but the one thing I always try to do is I try to be a bit more preemptive about my change. You know, my personal training, personally, my own workouts,
Okay.
let's say, uh, as well as my nutrition. Yeah, like I said, as we get older, our hormonal function changes, our strength changes, our desires, our
Mm-hmm.
goals change. And I try to teach people that play around, trial and error things, see what works for you, because what worked for you at 25 may not work for you at 30 or at 35 or at 40. There's got to be something different that stimulates your body
That's a
to
good
change.
way to help someone to look at it. Because, again, it's all linear. You're thinking,
Yes.
whatever I did when I was in high school, I should be able to. If I'm not doing it like that, then I'm just falling apart.
Because it
When,
works so well then, right? Because
yeah,
then it may have, but holy cow. Like you can do anything at 18,
I think
19,
that's
20.
such a great. I mean, I never even thought about that. Like how to help people to understand at this stage, these different stages of your life, you're
Hmm.
gonna have different needs and wants and desires,
Yeah.
interests.
Yes.
Your body's different, you
Yeah.
know. Um, as a matter of fact, you has mentioned a couple of things in your bio that yes, you've had years of education, but over these years of just experiencing
Hmm.
experiences and doing your own, taking the initiative to learn different things on your
No
own.
doubt.
Kind of tell me how has things just kind of pivoted when it comes to your perspective on nutrition and how you interact with clients
I
and
tell you
people.
what, I was talking to one of my business partners this morning, and we were talking about knowledge base. And one of the things that I figured out for myself is the more I learn about nutrition, the less I know. Does that make sense?
I can
I
agree with
mean,
you
it
because it's
is, there's so much information
yeah,
out there. Now, I'm smarter, but I also realize there's so much more for me to learn out
true.
there. And I think there are certain aspects of nutrition that are just on the cusp of being understood that I don't know. What I used to preach to people 10 years ago, I would never preach now. Was it wrong back then? Probably not. And in most cases, it wasn't. But I'm smarter now about information. I take information, nutritional information especially, and I'm more patient with it,
Hmm.
meaning that I give it time to simmer a little bit instead of either accepting it fully or throwing it away
Yes.
fully. There are a lot of areas of, I tell you what, to summarize kind of my philosophy of nutrition right now, and this comes from probably the last 5 to 6 years of learning, is everyone needs to be patient with their own nutritional path. Meaning that what got you to one point, like we were saying, will not get you to the next 10 years or the next 15. It is about finding your diet. And I try to explain that to people. I was like, we can go on the internet, especially this time of year. Everybody's looking for what diet is going to work for me. Well, let me
Hmm.
tell you, it's going to be your diet.
Yes.
And that takes time. People don't want to hear that, but that takes time. It's going to take a lot of trial and error. It's going to take mistakes. It's going to take listening to your body. I mean, it's a crazy concept.
But you know
you
what
know?
though? But it's needed. You need to take time because
Yes.
when you are in a, if you're just if something just given to you quick, fast, in a hurry, you have no time to appreciate it. You have no
Yes.
time to grow and to change within it. You have no time to even recognize what you're doing.
And you have no time to understand it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, like why did this even happen? No, no doubt. And that's where I really try to teach people. I'm like, are you in a hurry? Like, like you're gonna live for how many more years? We have some time here. Not that you don't want to see quick results. Who doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that patience will pay off exponentially, in 2 months, 3 months, a year, because you are going to gain knowledge about what your body needs, not what the internet is telling you
True.
it needs. I'll give you a great example. The ketogenic diet, it's huge right now. I am a huge fan of the ketogenic diet, but I also understand that it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for everybody. Some people should stay far, far away from it. I understand that some people use carbohydrates wonderfully, others don't. You know what I mean?
Their
So it's
body,
like,
yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, everyone is a little bit different. So taking what your neighbor Sally is doing because she's lost 30 pounds on it,
Yes.
may work in the reverse for you. And so it's about seeking out somebody, like yourself, Rashonda, that has a great knowledge of nutrition to, I don't like to say to give somebody a program, but to guide someone's program.
Yes.
Because there, like I said earlier, there's no way you can just hit the nail on the head. Yeah, okay, it may work for a while, but like I said earlier, there's going to be change that is going to happen in your wants, in your needs, in your goals, in your body, in your time of life. So you always have to be seeking what is going to help the body remain healthy. And then if you want to lose weight or gain muscle, let that be a byproduct of your body becoming healthier,
True.
not because you're depriving yourself of something.
Yes. There's so many ways to unfold and unpack that. I've
Yeah.
just listed out 5 things I wanted to say. That I just feel like you got it. But the thing is, it is so true. One thing you mentioned and was the time frame. We
Mhm.
feel like we have to rush.
Yeah.
I have clients that I've told, if we lose 20 pounds in 6 months, you've had 6 months to learn about nutrition, learn about yourself, learn what to do in certain situations, learn
Mhm.
to appreciate and look at food differently.
Yes.
So by the time you get there physically, you're also there mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
If we lost 20 pounds in 1 month, which would never be
Mhm.
something I would recommend, it's like you just put on blinders and just close your eyes and
Yeah.
didn't learn anything. So what does that mean? You're gonna go right to back where
Yeah.
you
There's
started.
no sustainability
There's
there.
no sustainability.
Yeah.
So yes, being patient and you, I mean, you learn about yourself,
Yeah.
and it's okay. I think it's good to learn about yourself.
No doubt. Yeah.
And if this is your life, in my opinion, there's actually not many things in life we can control. We can't control people and how things
Mhm.
happen, but we can control how we choose to take care of our body.
Yeah.
And by doing that, one of the biggest things is how we choose to eat. And
Yeah.
that's how I look at nutrition. Like that is a choice that we have the power
Mhm.
to choose.
Yeah.
It's now how are you going to learn to do it that's more beneficial for your health and not like you say, don't suffer to change your body or to lose weight.
Yeah.
You want to love yourself and give
Mhm.
yourself the best. And when you focus on that, the byproduct
Yeah.
is
Is all these things you
it
want.
happens.
Yeah.
You know?
And I tell everybody, I'm like, you're not going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. And so it's okay. There's a client I was helping counsel along, and she was out of town, so we would have a weekly phone conversation. I said, probably the best thing you can do is in your calendar, set up opportunities for you to crank it up for a week or a month. She travels a lot. She's got a stressful job. I'm like, all the other times, just try to maintain. Do enough to maintain because we ebb and flow throughout the year. Sometimes I'm in a great spot to get all my training in, to eat well. Sometimes I'm not, and so I know for me, one thing I've learned is I can't beat myself up about it. I am hard on myself when I feel like, okay, I've told myself I want to get these results by this date, and I mess up or I eat poorly or whatever it is. It's real easy for me to be just all over myself,
Yes.
just kind of just beating me up. Whereas now I'm like, you know what? It's okay. Like I can get back on track and I can get those results in the same manner without having all the mental struggle
It's
about
good to
it.
hear that coming from a dietitian because most of the time if we eat a half of a cookie,
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh. Did anybody see that?
it's like we're human just like you guys
Yeah.
are. But the thing is that with the education, we know like how to paddle through the
Yeah.
waves or whatnot. But we also understand that that's not how we eat all the time. And
Yes.
there's a balance to
Yeah.
it. And no, we're not living in a life of perfection.
No, not at
We
all.
just know how we have learned to understand how to balance it, and it's
Exactly.
not because we're forcing ourselves to either.
Mm-hmm.
We're choosing to have certain things.
Yep.
And so when someone hears you say that, that helps them understand. Okay, That's what he has his
Yeah.
things that he
We
working
all have
through.
struggles.
Yes.
Everybody has struggles. I mean, everybody, I don't care who you are, has food baggage of some sort. I mean, food is social, it's
It's
emotional.
everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, and we are hardwired. I mean, we are wired to eat. I mean, it is in our
You have to
DNA.
eat.
Yeah.
You can't not eat. So that's
No,
another
so,
thing.
and
You can't opt out.
yeah, I mean, it's it's not like I'm gonna give that up. No, I mean, yeah, that only works for a short period of
Yeah.
time. But then it's a matter of how, if I have to eat, what is the best route for me? You know, that's really the heart of it when I'm counseling our clients is let's find your path. You
That's
know,
good.
if we
Yeah.
know these are your triggers, if we know these are the things that throw you off, whether it's situational or whether it's specific foods or a specific pattern of eating, you know, let's embrace that. If we know it, if that's your problem, let's say, okay, we know it. Let's work with that. Let's
Yes.
figure out
Find a
a new
solution.
pattern. Let's figure out what is going on in your mind
Hmm.
that is causing the struggles. Because once you understand that and you are okay with screwing up occasionally, you know, if you're okay with it, it isn't as big of a deal. It doesn't affect you as much mentally, and you can just keep progressing
Hmm.
right along.
Implement it, and if you know that's it's all about to me is like being proactive. Like if you know, like everyone has, I call it, we have Achilles heel somewhere, like
Hmm.
something that we are struggling with, and use it as an opportunity to learn what's causing the struggle or how can I find a way to, you know, lower the struggle as far as if it's some sort of food or
Yeah.
amount to where you can implement it into your life because better just to have it and implement it in a more nurturing loving way
Hmm.
versus looking at it as every time you do that you're going right to the
It's
old
not black
you
and
or
white,
yes.
right? I mean, it's not one or the other. Like there is an ebb and flow to everything,
Hmm.
and we just have to understand that. And once people understand that, then they're like, okay,
Yeah.
like this food thing isn't as bad as I thought.
So you said something about you want to learn, teach people. It can be a very simple thing,
Hmm.
and you talked about this Fab 14. I've seen it over
Hmm.
the last couple of years.
Yep.
Um, but tell me more so what the Fab 14 is and like what is that? That's your baby. That's your
Yeah,
nutrition
yeah.
baby. So tell me
This
a
is
little bit about
something
that.
that I am very, and it's taken a lot of help from other people. Another business partner Barkley Pool helped me to create this. And what it is a way to reconnect with the power of food. You know, sometimes what I think where this all came from was I was talking to him one day and I was like, I'm so sick of people just using food as just something to fill up with, you know, not understanding the importance of it. And I was like, food is just so powerful. It can be so, it affects everything we do. It
Mm-hmm.
affects not only just how our energy is and how we look, but it affects our mental processes. It affects our mood. It affects our digestion. It affects everything. And so the Fab 14 is a 14-day boot camp. Best tasting boot camp around, I would
Okay.
say. I mean, most people, and we really wanted to help people find their nutritional foundation.
Okay.
That was the whole point of it. Throughout, it's a 14-day period where you start out, you get a 20-page guide, and this is done remotely. You don't have to come and see me.
Okay.
And we start out with uh, an initial video that I send out, kind of explaining the whys and hows of the whole boot camp. And we really want people just to focus in for 14 days. 14 days is long enough for the mind to stay involved and not become bored with it. But it's also a short enough time for the mind to stay involved, but a long enough time for the body to really reap some benefit
Okay.
from it, to give people an opportunity to feel change in their bodies. And I'm not talking like, oh, this is a weight loss plan. I mean, if you do it to a T, if you're trying to lose weight, you'll probably be pleasantly surprised. But it's more about that energy, mood, digestion, better sleep, getting off antacids, a reflux going away, even within 14 days. And that's why we want people to reconnect with the power of food, because food is so powerful that even within a short 14-day period, it
So
could
many
kind
things
it yeah, I mean,
change.
your body will just benefit and reap the benefits of just feeding the system what it needs. And that's one thing that I hammer into people's heads during this is simply give your body what it needs when it needs it.
Hmm.
And that's the thing. We guide it, meaning we have a dedicated app that the group goes into.
Okay.
And I'm like a little dietitian in your pocket, not literally,
I like it.
but a dietitian in your pocket where you can rely upon me for if you're going out, you don't know how to apply what this boot camp offers. Let me know. I will help you out. You need a little bit of motivation. Throw it to the group or throw it to me,
Okay.
and we'll keep you on track. I give videos every day of something
Okay.
else to
So it's
focus
pretty.
on.
It's intense.
It is. And the great thing is we've simplified it. It needs to be simple and sustainable, and that's really what we've tried to accomplish. Here's the gist of it. Every time you eat, you fill 5 buckets: protein, carbohydrate, fat, vegetable, fruit.
Okay.
Every time you eat. And that's it. So we've eliminated snacking
There you go. Okay.
because everybody thinks, oh, I need to eat 5 and 6 times a day. Well, you know what? As an adult, our bodies aren't really capable of eating from the morning you wake up till the morning you go to bed. Can it? Sure. It can adapt it.
Schedules and life.
But
Yeah.
we don't necessarily have to do that. So again, it's a point of trying to figure out what the needs of each person is, letting them figure it
Mhm.
out. We provide all this information. We provide motivation. We provide videos and recipes and everything that's needed to help get them through these 14 days that most people coming out of it are like, I want to continue doing this.
Okay.
Which is unlike many boot camps. Boot
Mhm.
camps are like, oh my
I
gosh, I
can't
can't
wait till
wait
I'm
till this
done.
is
Oh,
done.
day 15. When is that?
But this is about creating that sustainability and
Okay.
simplifying nutrition to simply 5 buckets.
Now what?
It is so easy to
Now do
do.
you? When is that? When is that? Have is that already started or like?
We do them periodically, and January 26th
Okay.
is the next one that's coming up.
January 26th.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give you all the information, and
Okay.
it is, I tell you what, I know I created it, Rashonda, but even I was kind of blown away by people's results. You
Hmm.
from aches and pains that people have been feeling for the past 10 years after having breast cancer and being on all these medications. Within 6 days, one participant texted me saying, it's gone. I went out and raked leaves. I
Life.
did dishes.
Life.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
can live.
And it's most people that are on think they have reflux every day. Within a few days, it's gone. But people, I think one thing that I love when I'm talking about, I love telling people that your norms don't need to be your norms. Whether it's reflux that you've had for the past 2 years, or it's I get cranky and hungry in mid-afternoon, or I'm not sleeping very well. My parents never slept well. It's just how no, or my blood pressure's
Yeah.
up.
It's
It's
not.
genetic. Well, no, it probably isn't.
Mhm.
And so even just within these 14 days, you will feel and see the results you want to feel and see. But more importantly, you can take whether it's in its entirety or whether it is 75% of it. Take something away from this boot camp that you can continue on and continue to build that nutritional foundation I was
Wow.
talking about.
Okay.
It's powerful.
Wow. Well, I'm going to try it out just to kind of
No,
get
no,
behind the scenes
please.
and
Yeah,
just see
yeah. I
what
would love for you
everyone
to
else
do.
sees. Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh my goodness. Jamie. Okay. So before we close up, people hear about your gym. They're hearing
Hmm.
about your program. Let them know how they can contact you guys, where
Okay.
your location is, where your social media
Okay.
platforms are, so they can find a way to know more about you.
On Facebook, it's simply Functional Elements. It'll pop up under
Okay.
Functional Elements Training and Nutrition Center. Instagram is at Functional Elements. The websites you can go through are fab14nutrition.com and functionalelements.net.
Okay.
So either of those will get you through to me. If anyone is interested in the Fab 14, which I hope everyone is, it is just a short 14 days of focused eating to help you understand what food, how powerful food can be for you. And fab14nutrition.com is where you can find that.
Great. Oh my goodness. Well, for you guys that are wanting to ever hear what a conversation sounds like between two dietitians, there you go. And guess what? That's really just scratching the surface. It's you have no
I
idea.
wish we could go longer.
I know. But one philosophy that Jamie sits on is that when it comes to nutrition and it comes to you making your choices, take time, figure out what's your diet. Understand it is trial and error. It's not going to always be the
Hmm.
perfect fit the first time. And at the end of the day, it's all about listening to your body and connecting with your
You
body.
got it. Be patient.
Be patient. There is power in food. When he said that earlier, my heart's fluttering and I'm taking deep breaths and puffing out because I understand. I live by it. I know it, and I'm so glad that we had this opportunity to just open that conversation up
Hmm.
so people can really understand how to start looking at their nutrition
Yep.
and how to get out of this diet mentality and how to start loving themselves.
Yes.
So thank you, Jamie, for just bringing this to the platform. Again, I'm so grateful to have you on this show with me.
I appreciate it.
I do foresee another conversation happening because, again, this is just the
Yeah, yeah.
scratching the surface.
I would
So,
love to.
yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, it was a great show. Rashonda, the dietitian against diets. Again, everyone, it's not about going against diets, it's the diet mentality. Change your perspective, think
Hmm.
differently, and learn how to love yourself and let it be reflected by your food choices. I will talk to you guys and see you guys next week. Thanks again for listening.